Welcome back to the BTS Happy Hour podcast. I'm your host, Andrea. Joining me today is Morgan.
Hey, what's up?
As expected, Big Hit made an announcement on March 26th to say that the Map of the Soul tour was going to be postponed.
Right.
And
it's kind of, we were waiting for it.
yeah, I mean, we knew that was going to happen.
I don't know that we knew it was going to happen, but the writing was on the wall.
I assumed. And it says that they want to tell us that the changes are going to be made in the schedule just to put the safety of everybody involved first and foremost, and they're going to reschedule to a later date. So I don't know if that means like all the dates are going to be changed or just some of them, or just they're going to like pick and choose, like depending which city lets them continue.
Yeah, it's unclear. Like sometimes maybe they want to reschedule, but the dates are not open.
Yeah, I would think the ones that are later on in the schedule, they're just going to leave it as is and just try to figure out new dates for the earlier ones. You know, of course, we're in California, so the Santa Clara and Los Angeles dates are what we would be looking at. So definitely those are going to be at a later time. Mm-hmm. But as you said in our last episode, there's some openings in June that they could definitely move those too. So.
Yeah, but when I said that, I assumed that they would kind of play most of their other dates.
I think they will still do most of the other ones. They just don't know 100% yet because different cities are doing different things for lockdowns. It's like state by state what's happening with coronavirus and how each state is handling it. So I think they're just going to go date by date and see what happens. But I think the later ones are probably going to be on the date that it says on the ticket. But I did log into Ticketmaster just to see, because I got an email about, one of your tickets has a change or something. And then I looked to see, and it said, the BTS tickets, it's like TBD now. It says, it doesn't say the date that it was. It says it's going to be some other time.
I mean, how far could they push it back? A whole year? I'm not thinking a whole year.
I don't think so. That's like...
And also, if you're pushing it way, way back, a lot of these venues, assuming that the NFL... Are they all NFL venues? Well, a lot of them are NFL venues. But
if it's stadiums, yeah.
It complicates things, right? Because the football teams are using it. Normally, during the summertime, football teams are not using those venues because that's not football season. So it's okay. Concerts can use them every weekend. That's fine. But now, are you running up into when the football teams want to use it? That makes it more complicated.
I think they're going to try to keep most of the dates because all of those happen in the summer. So they're going to try to keep all of those, except maybe they'll really look at the MetLife dates because I guess New York's not in a good spot right now. So that one might change.
And also 2 teams use that venue.
Yeah. So that they don't have a lot of options with with MetLife
So
Stadium.
Unfortunately, if you have tickets to the MetLife, it could be dicey. Because as I understand it, more things use that venue.
Yeah.
Well, number one, there's already 2 football teams that use it.
There's 2 football teams.
Yeah. And so you may have a...
But wouldn't they use it only on Sundays, or do they sometimes use it on other days? Like it might be a Thursday or it might be a Monday Night Football or something like that. So maybe they would just move it like 1 or 2 days. Who can tell?
It's hard to say.
Things are very uncertain right now with this virus.
It's really difficult to say. I know that everybody, what they're trying to do is not to cancel things outright. Of course, because they're going to lose money if they cancel things outright. So they're going to try. They're going to do their best, okay? And if they're not able to, then at the very least, you can take solace in the fact that they would have tried their best to reschedule things. They don't want to lose money. So they would have tried their best. And if it still couldn't happen, then at least you can take solace in the fact that, hey, it just wasn't feasible. It just, for whatever reason, it just was not feasible. It wasn't because people didn't want it to happen or they were lazy. It just couldn't happen for whatever reason. But they have not canceled yet, so let's just hold on to that.
Well,
they haven't canceled yet.
Well, when I went to Ticketmaster, it said the dates are TBD. So, and I know because we were in the first dates, that's why it said that. But I wonder if the later dates said that.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if they said that because
maybe not.
Somebody tweet us and tell us what your ticket said. If you were in the later part of the tour.
Maybe the later dates haven't been rescheduled or anything yet. Possible. But I have to imagine maybe they would just do a blanket. I don't know. It's hard to say because you can't just reschedule indefinitely into the future, right?
Yeah.
Especially since they do have, well, enlistment is not such a big deal at this point. They could just do the concerts a man short. But
and they still have a lot of time for that because it's like that doesn't need to be till the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say. But for sure, the early dates, they need to be rescheduled.
Yeah, definitely.
But at this point, you should be thankful that it's not technically canceled yet.
Why do you think the U.S. dates are just going to be postponed, whereas the Seoul dates, they just decided to cancel it? I wonder what the difference was.
Hard to say. I really don't know.
I just find that really weird because, like, all they had to do was say the Seoul dates are postponed until unspecified date.
All right.
But they didn't do that. They just said those ones are canceled. And that was like 4 dates.
Yeah.
So I just wonder why they did it that way.
It's hard to say.
Because you make everybody go through the whole ticket buying process again. And it's like if somebody
if they have another.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe they're thinking,
it
might not even happen.
Yeah.
But you're making everybody go through that whole ticket buying process again. So I'm just wondering why they did that. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason. Maybe the whole
maybe they know that. Maybe they
different.
know something we don't. Maybe they know that the government is not going to clear large gatherings like that for a long, long time.
Right.
Perhaps that's what they know. They might have made that information available to Big Hit.
Can they not hold on to people's money if it's like a long time from now that it's going to be?
I don't know. There probably are laws governing that in Korea, but perhaps the government has told them, like, look, this is not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, for a gathering that large, it's not going to be happening anytime in the near future.
That could be. They must have gotten some kind of legal guidance about.
So
maybe
for that reason they just said, well, we can just cross our fingers, okay? We can cross our fingers for everybody's sake. Let's hope they reschedule in a orderly fashion, and everybody who's got tickets those tickets will be honored, and if not, well, they'll refund you. I know that's not ideal, but at least you won't lose out on that money.
So the question has come up with coronavirus happening all over the world. Should BTS consider virtual shows the way some other artists have done?
What other artists?
I'm looking at an article in Forbes, and it's talking about how BTS could possibly make more than $1 billion by making its North American tour online only. And this is the finding of new research from researchers at Feel Good Contacts who were trying to calculate, okay, how much could an artist make from an online show?
Yeah. Well, I read that same article on Forbes. And, well, number one, I do think that it's good for them to try to find creative ways around, the restrictions that we have in place due to coronavirus. But number two, the findings of that particular article are just salacious, sort of clickbaity, and the reasoning behind their figures is super reductive. I mean, if you look at it, basically they just say, well, this one group, they live streamed and they had an X number of people on their live stream. Mm-hmm. And let's say all the people who paid to go to see them in concert paid half for their live stream. Then they would have made X money. Like, that's not how it works. So
yeah, it's just a projection. You don't know.
The people who just tune into a live stream, what are they willing to actually pay to watch a live stream? It has no relation to what they're willing to pay to see you in person.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. Like, basically they say, well, let's take the average of their ticket price. What's the average of a ticket price of BTS? Like, even if you look in the own article, it's like $100+, right? Mm-hmm. Ask yourself realistically, who would pay $100+ to watch BTS on a online live stream? Almost nobody, right? I mean, if it's free, they'll tune in.
Yeah.
If it's $10, maybe even they will. But 100, it's just they're two totally different products. So to assume that people would pay 50% of what they paid for a ticket, it makes no sense. It's terribly reductive. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it really depends what the ticket costs in the first place.
Right. And the ticket cost of BTS tickets, this latest go around, is so high that I can't imagine that. This is not to say that it's not a good idea. Like they couldn't make a ton of money, but to say that they'd make $1.1 billion just because you ran the math based on just totally faulty assumptions.
Yeah.
No, they're not going to make 1.1, but that doesn't mean it's not a good idea and it couldn't be profitable.
Like they'll make money, but it's not like every single person that bought a ticket,
right?
They'll pay half of whatever they paid.
That's like saying, oh well, you have this many YouTube views. Let's just say every one of those YouTube views equals a 50% of a concert ticket. No, they're not even comparable. If somebody clicks and watches your video on YouTube or clicks and watches your free live stream, that doesn't indicate how likely that person is to spend even 50% of a ticket price for a concert, right? That's a different demographic altogether. Now, there's tons of people who are willing to spend a lot of money on a BTS ticket.
Yeah.
But that's a concert. Like, for instance, we paid $1,000 to see them in Santa Clara, right? Mm-hmm. If someone asked me, well, would you pay $100 to just watch their live stream? I'd say, hell no.
No way.
No. It's not the same experience. I wouldn't say, yeah, that's the exact same experience. Yeah, sure, I'll pay for it. No, absolutely not. Because we paid to be up front in a live concert.
Yeah.
Right? And even the people who paid for the cheap seats, they paid for that live experience.
Yeah. You can't recreate that online.
You can't just say 1-to-1 or even 1-to-0.5. Oh, yeah. It's they'd pay 0.5 for this experience online. No, it's not even close. It's not even 0.5. I mean, I don't know what it is exactly, but it's not 0.5, right? There's no way that watching something live is just 2 times as valuable as watching something in a stream with everybody else, where the supply is theoretically unlimited. Because you could stream to, theoretically, unlimited number of people. Whereas the supply, when you're talking about live events, it's limited. It is finite, right? Only so many people can sit in the front row. Only so many people can sit in the second row. Only so many people can sit in the third row, right? Mm-hmm. So people understand this, and they're willing to pay accordingly. We paid accordingly. The thousands of other people paid accordingly to this logic.
Yeah.
When it becomes just a stream, they're not going to pay 50%. And, this is just... people just want to write. It's another one of those people just want to write articles that have BTS in it because it gets clicks.
Yeah.
So that's fair enough. But the point, let's step back and look at the sort of the larger point, which is, can they make money doing live streams instead? Now, the figures that they throw out are totally unreasonable. They're not going to make $1.1 billion from just live streaming or whatever. That's ridiculous. But the larger question is it a viable thing for them to do? Can they make money from it? Is it a good alternative given, the coronavirus circumstance? And I think the answer is yes. I think that you could sort of work it out. Will it be as profitable as the headline that, gets the clickbaity headline? Obviously, they're not going to make $1 billion. But is it profitable? Is it worth it? Is it like an option? Actually, I think so. I think they can maybe make this work. I mean, there's so many diehard, really hardcore BTS fans. They pay something to see it live stream, right? And I think that would be profitable. And I think that's a good substitute right now in lieu of live dates, right? Which are postponed and will still happen. So ignoring the clickbaity headline of $1 billion or whatever, yes, I think this could be a thing that they could do. It could be worth it. It could be profitable. It could be a good idea. And they should probably look into it.
I think they could, and because they have done it already. They've had many concerts where you buy, the access to it on VLive or whatever it is. So they've done that already, so that wouldn't be shocking. And I don't think it would be anywhere close to what a ticket would cost. So
no, and it doesn't need to be, and to be profitable, it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
And realistically, it's not going to be that.
The people that did these numbers at Feel Good Contacts, they based it on a Western artist, Youngblood, and he was supposed to perform in Asia, and he canceled it because of coronavirus, and he was only going to perform 5 dates. So he did an online thing, and
Yeah, he got a lot of views.
Made however much money. But this thing is, like, okay, everybody in Asia would not have seen him otherwise.
Right.
Because
and
Western artists, they're barely performing
And you
anywhere.
have to assume that his views were much higher because they didn't charge half the ticket price of the concert.
I do think by May or June, it's going to be okay to perform.
I would think
in
it is.
stadiums.
But let's say it's not. They should. I mean, they're not doing anything right now. Let's be real. So let's use their time. They should totally throw these things.
I mean, I've been on the side of they shouldn't do this because they haven't performed anything from this tour yet. So whatever they do is going to be a surprise. So if they do that online first, that's going to kind of ruin it. Like you want to see that live first.
There's no spoiling it because you cannot replace the experience of being there.
Yeah.
You cannot replace that. You cannot spoil that experience, in my opinion.
That's true. Even if you see the entire thing ahead of time.
Yeah, even if you see the entire thing
not the same.
on your big screen TV, and TVs are nice these days. Everybody has a nice big 4K TV. They're so cheap. Even if you saw it on that, it's not spoiled because it's not the same. Because if you saw it in person, it's a different experience, right?
On March 22nd, BTS posted a video that was basically a message of encouragement for fans in South Korea, and they were talking about coronavirus. And in the video, they said they were nominated by the cadets of Korea Armed Forces Nursing Academy. So it seemed like this was a viral thing where, like, oh, you nominate the next people to make a video to inspire people about coronavirus. And they were talking about how they realized more than ever how meaningful everyday life was, and standing on stage facing empty seats, we realized how precious each moment with you was. And they also said to fans to stay strong and to stay connected despite social distancing and quarantine measures being taken around the globe. And the hardest thing was that everybody is feeling more and more isolated, but they wanted to encourage everybody and say, if we have the courage, we can overcome anything, and we will succeed with the power of our connection. So I thought that was pretty good message, and that would be inspiring to people. And it was came across as authentic and polished as well, because I'm sure they were given, what to say, because this is the kind of thing that it seemed like Big Hit gave them instruction on what to say. So I think that was a good move, because I'm sure fans were like, oh, what's going on with BTS during coronavirus? Like, what are they going to say? And are they going to let us know what's going on with them and this and that? But it was like a very basic kind of video, and they just had some not very controversial things to say. But it just seems like such a contrast to what was happening in America and our celebrities, which they clearly don't have their people telling them what to do. They're just kind of just posting videos of whatever, and they think they're helping or they think they're inspiring us. And it's just such a contrast, because it's very clear that they don't have a good grasp on how to be relatable or how to say what the right thing is to fans. I don't know if it's our celebrities are just so out of touch, or they're just not used to talking to fans. It's just a very strange thing that I feel like we're seeing right now. If you're a person in America and you're seeing how celebrities are acting on Instagram and on YouTube, and it's just very strange. It's some people, it just seems they don't know how to talk on, just spontaneously without being given a complete script and, being told what to say about coronavirus.
Yeah, I think it does offer somewhat of a contrast, where BTS seems a lot more genuine than some of these American celebrities who are doing stuff that's not been received very well. I mean, I guess we're specifically thinking of the celebrities who were singing that Imagine song.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, this is really what we're talking about, right?
Everybody made fun of that.
Everybody made fun of it. I don't want to pile on to it too much, because I think that even if those celebrities are not, they seem pretty, they're not very self-aware. At least it does not seem, and I'm not like one of these people who is an apologist for celebrities. I generally don't like celebrities, but in this case, I will defend them a bit in saying that, what they're doing doesn't seem malicious or anything. It's just they think that they're doing something nice. And when people think they're doing something, well, just let them do what they think is nice, right? Even if it seems very tone deaf and out of touch.
I do feel like they had their heart in the right place.
Right, which is okay with me. But it does seem very tone deaf because they sang a song about, like other people has touched on this, like Joe Rogan has touched on this. Like they sang a song about, like, imagine there's no heaven, even when like people are dying. I was like, well, maybe when people are dying, well, maybe we would like to imagine there's a heaven, right? Like like if you're the family member of people who are dying, then probably you maybe. I don't think there's a heaven, but maybe like this is not the time to tell people they shouldn't be imagining that. Because you're singing this song. And you might just say, well, it's just like a pleasant song, or whatever. But the song has lyrics. We can't avoid the fact that the song has lyrics, and people hear it. Right?
I definitely think they picked the wrong song. Like if you're gonna pick
but this is the song that celebrities always pick.
I don't know why.
Like, let's pick a John Lennon song, because like John Lennon is like the best and the most peaceful and whatever. Even though he beat his wife, by the way. We won't go into that right here, but whatever. So they just want to do that. And anyway, I'm not gonna rag on them too much, because I don't think they meant anything bad by it, but it is very tone deaf. Because in times like this, here's a reality: average person just doesn't give a fuck about what you guys are doing. And during this time, maybe you should just shut the fuck up. I know that's very hard for celebrities to do, and you know what? In fairness, they're not obligated to do that. They can go ahead and talk and talk and talk and talk. That's their right. I would not take that right away from them. But the more you talk, the more stupid and irrelevant that the average person will view you as. And they might come to view you poorly, and just, their opinion of you may increasingly skew negative, and you should just consider that. So maybe the best idea is just to be quiet. That's all. I don't think any of them are bad people, even though I think it was misguided. But yeah, it was not a good look, and
everybody roasted it.
And I think rightfully so. And somehow BTS didn't do something that was so fucking cringeworthy. You just have to sort of say something sincere and normal. When celebrities like singing a song or something, it just seems like, look at me, I'm uplifting you with this song. I'm such a special person. Aren't you happy that I'm singing to you? Like, listen, half of you don't even have good singing voices.
I think the difference is K-pop artists, they're run by an agency, and so they're letting them know, okay, let's post a video now, and here's the kind of things you should say. Whereas Hollywood people, it's like, I'm deciding all on my own what I'm going to do.
They're just sitting at home and deciding what they want to do. They sing a song. They sing a really out of touch song that is kind of insensitive in a lot of ways. Okay,
they don't have good judgment.
In this context, it's really insensitive. It's like, because right now, if your grandparents died, you do want to imagine there's a heaven. If you are trying to protect your country from the spread of disease, you probably want to imagine there are borders. So pick a different song, man.
That's why I think they should have picked Yesterday. If they're going to pick a throwback song, Yesterday is much better. It's much more hopeful.
Yeah. But anyway, the point is...
For some reason, celebrities don't like Yesterday. I don't know why. They love Imagine. But Yesterday
because Imagine is like the quintessential John Lennon song.
Yesterday is a much better song, though. Like,
it is a much better song.
People don't want to give credit to Paul McCartney for some reason. Well, but he's a good songwriter, too.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure that it's like a Paul McCartney versus a John Lennon thing, but...
I think people think John Lennon is cooler, therefore that's more street cred if you do a John Lennon song.
Probably.
Whereas Paul McCartney's more like, oh, he's mainstream. He's like almost like corny.
Well, one guy's dead and the other's not. So yeah, usually the dead guy is cooler. I'm not going to say that's right. I'm just going to say that's how people think. right?
My opinion is
John Lennon's dead. So
Yesterday has much better lyrics and is much more hopeful and appropriate for this situation. Like Imagine isn't really appropriate for anything, but I don't know why people love that song to begin with.
Well, no, I don't know. I hate that song.
I hate that
Is
song.
Yesterday that hopeful though? I don't think it is, but
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away.
I mean, like, I would almost think like Hey Jude is more hopeful. Nobody knows what Jude means though. Anyway, it goes to your point. Paul McCartney, not respected enough. Probably because he's alive. John Lennon, dead. Maybe stop singing so many John Lennon songs. Jesus Christ, because I do think that the McCartney songs are better. This is like a very, very, very esoteric argument to have. Like between the various Beatles.
Well, the thing is, I think this whole thing started because Gal Gadot, it seems like she's the ringleader here.
Correct.
And
she started it.
She called all her friends and was like, let's do this thing. Let's sing this song.
And impressive. She has a lot of friends. That's great.
And I think it's very hard to say no to Gal Gadot because she seems like very nice and pretty and like you don't want to like get on her bad side or anything, and you want to like, oh, okay, I'm cool with her, I'm just gonna
want to get on her bad side.
I mean, she doesn't have a bad side, but you want to like be friends with her, so you're just gonna do what she asks.
Right.
So that escalated the whole thing is because she started it, and she probably picked the song, and I just think it was
and she wasn't considering all the political history of all that. That's fair. That's fine. And again, I do not hold it against the people. I really don't. A lot of people are dragging these celebrities like, you dumb celebrities. What? Listen, number one, I just kind of assume the celebrities are dumb. So when they show themselves to be dumb, I'm not upset. I don't hold it against them.
It's not
I'm not
surprising.
like, oh no, now you're canceled because you're dumb. It's like, oh, they're dumb. I just assumed that they would be dumb. Did you guys assume something different? That's your mistake. That's not the problem with the celebrities, and that's not my problem. That's really your problem, that you would assume the celebrities would be anything but dumb. They're dumb. Yeah, they're dumb. A lot of them didn't even graduate from high school. Jesus
Hollywood
Christ.
celebrities, they're not smart.
They're some of the dumbest people on earth. A lot of them did not even graduate from high school. So I'm not upset with them. I'm not crying about it. I'm not outraged. I think the larger point here is that BTS is much better managed, and they put out a message that I think that everybody, could get behind, non-controversial.
Yeah, something that's inspiring but hopeful.
Right. And maybe Western artists, bottom line, maybe Western artists should take a page from K-pop artists in the way they handle themselves. That's all I'm saying.
In fact, none of the other K-pop artists have posted anything that was like weird or controversial or like questionable in any way,
or not like Madonna in her bathtub or anything like that. Yeah,
that's the next thing I was gonna say. It's like something weird, like I don't even know what that was about, but Madonna was in her bathtub and was like, we're all equal now, we're all quarantined, and it's like, what are you talking about?
It's like, wonderful, but no, not really, because you're still super rich, Madonna.
And why are you naked in a bathtub?
If the shit hit the fan, proverbially, right? You're still in much better shape than the average person because you're still stinking rich. And you are in the bathtub with, were there like rose petals in her bath? Like she was like in a weird bathtub
It was like
situation.
a milk bath.
Yeah, it was like a fucking
with rose petals.
You were like in a milk bath. At least it was a milk bath because like,
I don't want
honestly,
anything.
Most of us probably think you bathe in the blood of innocence at this point, right? So I was heartened to see that it was like a milk bath or something like that. Okay? Nobody cares about your opinion. It's so out of touch. Just shut up.
The other thing I noticed about the whole coronavirus celebrities on YouTube is, no, I have not seen one South Korean K-pop idol or celebrity say, oh, I have coronavirus and here's what's going on with me. Like, do you think like none of them have gotten it, or do you think they just don't want to say if they've gotten it?
They don't want to say it. They don't want to say it.
Well, I think that's probably a good thing because people might react a certain way. They might panic or they might be upset.
What do you mean react a certain way? Panic? Oh, maybe
like,
they want to.
Yeah, what if someone in BTS said, oh, I have coronavirus? Like, people would go crazy.
Right.
They'd be
But here's the thing, though.
Upset.
As from what I understand about coronavirus, the young and healthy, look at the NBA players who have tested positive. So we know for sure that they've had it, right? Every single NBA player who's tested positive has just said, I don't feel any symptoms. You know why? Because they're young and super healthy people, right? So I don't, you know what? If a K-pop star got it, which I'm sure some have had it. Let's be realistic.
I mean, just for the odds, I think someone
exactly. Some
probably did get it.
But being young and healthy people probably is just not a big deal.
But I just find that so interesting because in America, anybody who has it, they're going straight to YouTube. They're going to say, hey, everybody,
I've got it.
I got it. Here's what I went through.
Let me get the clout.
Here's the whole story.
Right.
They're 100% going to do that. Whereas in South Korea, I think if anybody got it, they would keep it secret. Anybody famous. Because they don't want everybody to be worried or get panicked or anything like that. So
whereas here, we want people to panic.
No, I think here it's more about I need to get attention or I need to... Or they think they're spreading awareness. That's what they think they're doing.
It's like, listen, we're already aware that there's lockdowns. We're aware that people can get it. You don't need to say, well, I'm a celebrity and I got it. So... This shows no. We're all aware that everybody can get it. Why? Yeah, we're aware of it.
I just think there's such a difference in mindset where like the American celebrities, if anybody got it, they're gonna announce it, and probably even some of them that said that are faking it, or they think they got it and they weren't really tested. They're just saying that.
Really, you think so? I guess that we can't call them on it.
Possible.
Yeah.
Unless I see some kind of like positive.
Well,
test
which
result.
ones?
I don't know.
I mean, I heard some people say Idris Elba was faking. I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there. I heard some people say that they thought that. That's all.
I don't know. I mean, he seems like an honest guy, but who really knows? And
he said some crazy, stupid shit, though, that I don't agree with. So I'm going to say maybe he's not an honest guy.
But do you believe Tom Hanks?
Yeah, I believe Tom Hanks. He has no reason to lie about any of this stuff.
Yeah, he has a very honest image.
Yeah, number one, he's very old, right? Number two, he's made all the money he can make. Number three, like he's not going to improve his stature or clout and they're all at the highest it can be. He has nothing to gain from doing anything. So if he says that, oh yeah, I got it, then yeah, he probably got it. But then look at his situation. He got it. And he was kind of sick and it was kind of like a cold, right? He's fine now. He's coming back to America.
He came back.
That's for most people, that is what it's going to be. It's just going to be like the flu or something.
Yeah, they had a
for
bad
most
flu
people,
and got over it.
It's more serious than the flu, but is it a lot more serious? No, I don't think so.
I do believe Tom Hanks because I feel
there's no zombies
Tom Hanks
walking around.
Has earned it. He's given me no reason to think he's lying. But yeah, I thought that was really a contrast where Hollywood celebrities get it, they're going to immediately announce it. Whereas
K-pop stars, they've not.
We haven't heard a single one say that they have it, even though there's a lot of cases in South Korea. So the odds are somebody must have gotten it.
Yeah.
But I think if we ever hear about it, it's going to be after the fact.
Yeah.
Because they don't want people to get worried and people to get upset. So I think that's what's going on. And probably their agencies have said, we don't want this to be a big news story.
All K-pop stars are young and healthy, so
yeah, and if
they're not going to be super affected by it.
If they just quarantine themselves, they're going to be fine, and then there's nothing to worry about, and there's nothing to announce.
Kind of quarantined anyway by default. So it's same difference either way, right? Mm-hmm. So it's very, very, very different the way the two countries are handling this, for sure. It doesn't help that, here's the other thing that doesn't help our celebrities. They all live in New York and LA, which are like the two epicenters. Those are like the two areas where you are quarantined. You are told to shelter in place. It's not like a lot of celebrities live in Iowa. Like if you live in Iowa or you live in Kansas, your day is pretty much the same, right? I'm pretty sure that people in Kansas are not.
Yeah.
They're not yet doing anything that much different.
They don't have shelter in place. They can go wherever.
Our celebrities don't live in those places. They live in New York and they live in LA. So
both places are locked down right now.
there's a large percentage of Americans who are not in that same boat. Let's say you live in Kansas. I don't think Kansas is under. They probably think that what's this? What's the big deal?
Yeah.
What do you guys? What's this fuss about?
They're seeing everything on the news. They're not experiencing.
What's all this fuss about? I don't think they should just ignore it or dismiss it, but they probably don't feel, the same urgency that New York and California feel.
On March 23rd, we saw the launch of Learn Korean with BTS on Weverse. So this is the program that Big Hit was developing to help teach international fans about Korean. And I looked at the videos that were on Weverse, and it's 3 videos so far that are 3 minutes long. And episode 1 talked about BTS phrases they use. Episode 2 was about how to introduce yourself. Episode 3 was talking about how to say hello and goodbye and how have you been. And I didn't learn any Korean really. I watched the videos.
I didn't watch it at all.
But okay, the thing is, it's really hard to learn a different language, and the way they did it was from using existing clips.
So it's not that useful, is what you're saying?
Well, I mean, I guess as a supplement, it would be useful.
Oh.
Like if you were already in the process of learning Korean.
So this is not like the be-all, end-all learn Korean thing.
Like I wouldn't use it as a standalone to try to learn the whole language, because here's the problem with it is that they use clips from all the existing footage that they have. So clips from V Lives and Run BTS and Bangtan Bombs and all that stuff. So they use videos where BTS is talking, and then, they're using the phrases that they want to teach that week. And that's very easy. You could just clip pieces from all these different videos and say, oh, here's what they're saying, and learn it. But you have to learn it, you need to know the alphabet, you need to know what they're saying, and you need to know how to pronounce it. And these videos, all they're doing is it's not showing the words phonetically, so I don't know how to actually say it. You have to hear it and then be able to repeat it. So if you're someone who learns by listening, then maybe that would work. But I think most people are visual learners, or they learn by speaking or saying the words and practice themselves. So I don't think it's a good way to learn the language. It's like it's like a person
Well, it was always kind of a gimmick, right?
Yeah. And I think it was just a kind of a supplement and a way to use the footage that they have. So, I mean, it's good as a supplement, but I wouldn't. There's no way someone could learn Korean just from watching these videos.
It was always kind of a gimmick, but hopefully it helps people who are just trying to maybe not learn Korean, but just passable Korean, like enough to visit Korea. Let's maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
It is good for that, for conversational Korean.
Right. No, that's if you're a BTS fan and you're just trying to learn some kind of something passable, then maybe it's just good enough.
It would be good because you can hear it, and then you just have to repeat back the phrases.
Right.
And then you'll generally know what they say.
Then maybe it just does its job.
I did find it hard because I need to see phonetically how you say something. So it needs to be spelled out and romanized.
Well, for you to really learn it.
Yeah.
But maybe you don't really need to learn it. You just need to get passable knowledge, right?
Be able to repeat the phrases. Right.
Like you're visiting Korea because you're interested in at this point, K-pop, right? Or whatever. You can go to the clubs or whatever. You order food, and that's really all you need to do. This is probably a situation we'll be in.
So my
hope is that Google Translate will just be robust.
Yeah.
By that point.
I recommend that if you are really serious about learning Korean, you should use Duolingo and then learn
this thing maybe not be the best.
The letters first. And then you can use the Learn Korean with BTS to learn phrases, because it's better for phrases. So you have to be at a certain level.
Yeah. Okay.
To learn phrases. Okay. So that's I
haven't no experience with either, but
that's my review of Learn Korean with BTS.
Right. But hopefully it helps some people in some way, somewhere.
Yeah.
But I never thought that people would be learning. They really be learning Korean or anything like that. Of course, probably not.
Yeah. When they announced that at the Big Hit company meeting, it sounded like it was going to be more than that. But I mean, it makes sense that they're not trying to be like a language learning company. They're just going to, figure out ways to reuse their content that they have with BTS. Right. So it's not meant to be like,
hey, you know what?
Studying a language.
If you can go to Korea, let's be real. If you're going there just on vacation, you just need enough to navigate. You're going to visit all the tourist spots, right? That's what you're going to do, right? And then hopefully you're going to, oh my God, like go to the nightclubs and things like that, and go to like the pochas and things. Like, those cool spots where they have like alcohol and food in the tents and stuff.
Oh yeah, the street food.
Like the street food, like you're gonna just go to those places, right? You just need to navigate this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah, I bet you learn Korean with BTS is gonna be good enough for that.
Yeah, I just want to sit in one of those tents and order some authentic. I don't know what kind of food. It's just like drinking food,
Yeah, it's like skewered meats and
more alcohol
and
more alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's all I need.
Yeah, I don't need to.
That's all I need.
I don't need to speak like everything in Korean.
No, I need to know how to order more alcohol and food.
And just like, how to ask for things,
right?
How to say thank you, like where's the train or whatever, public transit.
That's really all there is to it. And anything more complex, I can just run it through Google Translate.
Mm-hmm.
You probably are not even going to need anything more complex than that, right? It's just like, I want this food. I want this alcohol. That's it. That would probably go quite a long way.
I am glad that they made it just a free thing on Weverse. So it sounds like they just...
Oh, is it free on Weverse?
I mean, yeah, it's on Weverse. So, but I had thought maybe they would make it some kind of paid system. Like you need a subscription or something for this. But I think they just added it as kind of a bonus thing, and that's why it's not a super comprehensive.
There's no need, because even Google does the stuff that you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, just say, "Hey Google, translate Korean for me." Just say that into your.
In Spanish.
Oh gosh, shit.
Well, there it is.
There it is. Our
you
Google.
See?
Hey Google, translate Korean.
Well,
now it doesn't understand. Okay, fine.
It's not perfect.
Fine. Very simple, right?
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you to our guest, Morgan. You can find BTS Happy Hour on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, CastBox, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. New episodes weekly. Please comment, review, or rate in the podcast platform you're using. Follow us on Twitter @OurBTS. Until next time, this has been the BTS Happy Hour. Thanks for listening, and remember, make every hour a happy one.